Hello everyone, welcome back to my YouTube channel and you're welcome if this is your first time coming across my channel. So in today's video I'm going to be making this nice simple blouse, so please make sure to subscribe at the end of this video if you end up enjoying it. So starting off, I have my starting line drawn already. That is the line you can see, and then I'm going to mark 2 inches all the way to the end of this paper, and that is going to serve as my um front button allowance. So this is the line here, and I'll just go ahead and label it my button allowance of 2 inches. So the next thing I'll be doing is, you see where I'm going to place my tape, and from there I am going to take my my neck um width of 3.5 inches, and then after that I'm going to take my shoulder measurements, which is 14 inches divided by 2, which is 7 inches, and then I'm going to add half inch for my sleeve, for when I want to insert my sleeve, making it 8 inches. And on that 8 inches I came down by 1 inch so I can be able to mark my shoulder slope. So this is me marking my shoulder slope. So after taking my shoulder slope, I'm going to come down from the 1 inch by 8 inches, and that will serve as my round armhole measurement divided by 2. Now, starting from the starting point, not from the 1 inch I came down, but from the main line I drew, I'm going to go ahead and take 11 inches, which is going to serve as my bust point line, and I'll also take 17 inches, which is my waist line, and then I'm going to take 24 inches, which is my blouse length, the length of my blouse length I want my blouse to be. So I'll just go ahead and mark more of those lines so I can be able to connect all of them with a straight line. That is what I am doing here now. And then I'll also go ahead and extend this my chest line. So I'm marking 8 inches all the way down so I can draw a straight line for my armhole. So here now I have lines for my armhole. So on my chest line, I'm taking my bust measurement divided by 4, and that is what I have on my chest line. And then I'll also come down to my bust point line. This is my bust point, and on my bust point line, I'm going to take my round bust measurement divided by 4 also. Then on my waistline, I'm going to take this is my waistline, and on there I'm going to take my round waist measurement divided by 4. So you want to mark yours and then place your own measurements where you are supposed to. Now, yeah, I'm labeling it my waistline. Now on this line, which is my blouse length, I'm going to take my hip measurements divided by 4, and that is what I marked on here. So these are my lines. The next thing I'll do is, on this line here that I have for my armhole, I marked the midpoint of my armhole, which is 4 inches. Then I'm going to go in by half an inch. Then I'm going to connect these 3 lines, but before I do that, I'm going to add half inches on all of my measurements, and that is just for ease, because I want this blouse to have ease and not to be very fitted on me. So I just added half inch on all of them for my ease allowance. So these are my new points now. So I'll just go ahead and use my curve ruler or French curve to connect the three lines that I have, the three dots that I have here. And this here now will serve as my front armhole. Note, just for my front armhole, I'm going to mark that. For my back armhole, I'm just going to connect this 4 inches here to this line, and this is going to serve as my back armhole. So this is for the front, while the other one is for the back armhole. So now I'll just go ahead and join my lines together from my bust point to my waist and to my blouse length. I'm just joining the lines together. Now coming over to my neckline, I'm going to take 1 inch down, and that will serve as my back neckline. And then I'm going to take 5.5 inches down, and that is going to serve as my front neckline. That is the depth of my front and back necklines. So I'm connecting that of my back neckline, which is just going to be a round neck line. But for the front part, it is going to be like a square. It's going to have a square kind of look. So I'm just trying to mark a straight line by marking the 3.5 inches I marked for my neckline width. So I already marked the 3.5 inches, and then I'm just going to connect the lines. I'm just marking the 5.5 inches also, so my line will be perfect and accurate. So these are my front and back neckline. This is for the front neckline, this is for the back neckline. So after doing that, I'm going to add 0.5 inches on my shoulder line for joining my front and back shoulders, by front and back bodies. And then I added 0.5 inch also at the sides for seam allowance, and then 1 inch at the bottom here now for folding allowance. So I'm just connecting all my lines together. Note, we already added 0.5 inch on the armhole, so we don't need to add another 0.5 inch on it again. So here now I already added my seam allowance, and then I'm just extending the lines that I have on my neckline. So I'll just go ahead and cut on the allowance that I have. So since I'm cutting for my back first, I'm going to cut my back armhole first, and then I'm going to cut on my shoulder line, and then I'll cut my back neckline. So this is it for the back. And before I place on my fabric, I'm going to fold in my button allowance, the button allowance of 2 inches that we had earlier. I'm going to fold it in, because the back is not going to have any button allowance. The button allowance is strictly is just for the front body. So I'm just folding in the button allowance, and then I'll place this on my fabric and cut it while folded. It should be folded when you are cutting it. So this is it. My fabric is folded while I placed this paper on it and cut it. So when I open it up, I have my back bodice. So this here now is for my back piece. And the next thing is to cut for my front bodice, the front part of this top. So I'll go ahead and open up my button allowance, and then I'll also cut the front armhole that we have. That is what I am cutting now. I'll cut for the front armhole, and also the neckline. I'll also cut the neckline that we have, and then I'll place some on another fabric and cut. So I've already done that. I'll just take out my paint and show you what my front bodice is looking like. So this is the two pieces that I have for my front. I'm going to place them side by side. Remember our the 2 inches I added for my bust allowance is also included here. So I'll just go ahead and fold them into two. I folded 1 inch first, and then I folded another 1 inch, and then pinned it down. I did that for the both sides. So you can see I already folded this down and pinned it. If you have an electric iron, you can go ahead and iron this down. So after doing that, I'm going to go ahead and stitch on it. I'm going to stitch it. Remember, I turned it over to the wrong side. So I'll just go ahead and stitch it and also stitch the other one. So I'll stitch both of them. So I have done that. I did that at the wrong side of my fabric. So this here now is the right side of my fabric. So I'm going to place the back side onto my front side, right side facing right side. These two are the right side of my back piece is facing the right side of my front piece. So I just go ahead and join the shoulder by 1/2 inch. Remember, we added 1/2 inch seam allowance on our pattern while we were cutting it. So I'm just going to go ahead and sew in that 1/2 inch that we added. I'll sew it in on the both shoulders. So after doing that, this is what I have now. And then the next thing is to sew a bias tape around my neckline. So I already cut out this bias tape. I measured the what I have on my neckline, and then I cut it and then cut with a width of 1 inch. So I'll just go ahead and fold it like so, and then sew it all the way round to the other side. And after doing that, this is what I'm going to have. This is what I am going to have. And then I'll go ahead and use my scissors to like create notches all round from one side to the other side, so I can easily fold it over again. So this is me creating my notch. Just make sure you don't cut on your thread, just on your just cut a little piece. And after doing that, I'm going to open it up properly and then fold it 2 times and then stitch on it all the way to the other side. I'm going to fold it twice and then stitch on it. So after doing that, this is what we have on our neckline. You can see how neat it is. So the next thing is to insert my elastic. So I'm going to insert this on where I have my waistline, and for the back piece, this elastic is measured 10 inches. So I'll just place this on my sewing machine, stretch it and sew it all along. Stretch it while sewing it. You're going to keep stretching it while sewing it, so you can create a little kind of bit of gathers on the waist. And then for the front side, I have 5 inches for both sides, 5 inches each. And then I also do the same thing, sew them on my waistline. So this is what we have after doing that. So what I have after sewing on my elastic thread, you can see that the bottom part is gathered already, and that is what we want to achieve for this top. So the next thing I'm going to do is to measure the armhole that I have here. I'm going to open it up and measure what I have on my armhole here. And what I have here is 24 inches. So it's time to cut out my sleeves. And then this is the fabric I'm going to be using to cut out my sleeve. I'm going to fold it into two like this, and then I'll also go ahead and fold it over again. Make sure you adjust while folding, so one side is not longer or shorter than the other side. So I folded it again into two, and this is just because I'm cutting for both sleeves. So starting from the folded parts, I'll just make kind of like an S shape. And since the round my round sleeve is 24 inches, I'm gonna divide that 24 inches by two, which is 12 inches, and that is what I want to have here. So after drawing my S shape line, I'm going to make sure I have at least 12 inches when I measure it. I'll make sure I have at least 12 inches. But here I have 13, which is also cool. And then for the length of this sleeve, I have 11 inches for the length, and then I added 1.5 inches, half inch for joining, and half 1 inch for folding, the bottom part of the sleeve. So that's what I have for the length. And for the width of my sleeve, I'm going to have 14 inches, which is my desired sleeve length. And then I'm going to divide the 14 inches by two, and then I'm going to add half an inch on there for my for seam allowance. So I'm just going to connect my lines together and then cut out my sleeves. So this is my sleeve, and I'm going to notch the midpoint so I know the midpoint when I'm attaching it to my bodice. Then I'm going to open it up and I'll have my two sleeves. So now I'll go ahead and join this sleeve to my bodice. I'll open it up like this and then on my shoulder, that is where I'm going to be inserting my sleeve. So I'm going to open it up to the right side, and then I'll place the right side of this sleeve on the right side of my body. That's right side facing right side. Then I'll take that notched points, join it to where I have my front and back shoulders joined together. Then I'm going to pin it all around my armhole. So I already pinned it down. I have not sewn it yet. But after sewing it, I'm going to fold the edge of my sleeve by 1 inch. I'll fold it by half inch first, and then fold it by another half inch, and so then I'll also do the same thing on the other side of my sleeve, and then I'll go ahead and join my sleeve and fold it. And after doing that, I'm going to just join my my top. I'm going to join the both sides by half inch from my sleeve, I'm going to join it all the way to the length, and I have done that already. I have also gone ahead to hem the bottom. Sorry for the quality of this video right now. I had an issue with my lightning, so I've hemmed the bottom. I folded it in by half an inch. I folded it in again by half an inch, making it a total of 1 inch, and then I sewed it all round. So the next thing I'm going to do is to insert my buttons. So my buttons that I inserted, it's kind of like a false button in the sense that it cannot be opened. So I just stitched it on. It cannot be unbuttoned. So whenever I want to wear it, I just wear it from the bottom because I have an allowance there, so it fits in from my head. So I just go ahead and take my buttons and put them on. You can make it a difference of 3 inches or 4 inches, but I advise to make it 3 inches. And this is the end result of my top. Please make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you in my next video. Bye.